Hello, welcome to Dungeon Dwellers Podcast. I'm your host, Justin. Today we're reviewing Darkman versus Army of Darkness, published by Dynamite, with collaborations from Metro Golden Mayer and Universal. I guess each of these companies own the rights to either Darkman or Army of Darkness, which are both Sam Raimi characters. Um, Yeah, if I would say if you haven't seen the Darkman movies, the first one is good. The two and three, which I haven't seen the third one. I only saw the second one recently. They replace Liam Neeson with the villain from the Mummy movies, the Brendan Fraser Mummy movies, which was super weird because it's like he was an Irish guy, and now he's replaced by this Middle Eastern dude. Which they did their best to make him look white and gave him brown hair in the movie, but it's like, uh, I thought he would be, and plus I thought that guy would be a cool Darkman because he has like a cool voice. He voice acted Black Adam in like a DC animated short, which I thought he did a very good job. But like as Darkman, he was kind of lame. But I don't know. I'll check out the third Darkman movie later. And Army of Darkness. Evil Dead 1 and 2 and Army of Darkness are great movies. You have to check it out. So this is our second Army of Darkness book that we reviewed. We first reviewed Kiss versus Army of Darkness, and we're going to also review later on in the month Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. If people didn't know, for Halloween month, for the month of October, we're reviewing comics that we feel would be great to read for the Halloween season. We also reviewed some manga. We're not going to review any more manga, unfortunately, because I already have a stack of graphic novels that I'm prepared to read and review for this month. So I don't want to add any more manga, because otherwise I have to remember to review these next year. So I would say this is way better than Kiss versus Army of Darkness. Though my main problem with that book was more, there was like SJW leanings in that book, which are everywhere, which is very prominent in modern comics. Here, it's more of a straightforward action horror comedy book, because like even in Darkman there was some horror comedy to that book. This book is written by Kurt Busiek and Roger Stern. Kurt Busiek, who I'm pretty sure is the creator of Astro City. If you haven't heard of Astro City, I read the first volume or book one back in the day in high school. They had it in the library, and I thought it was a weird book because it's basically this superhero book, but it's like a slice of life. So each issue would tell the story of a different character in this superhero world, which most of the characters are like ripoffs of either DC and Marvel books, DC and Marvel characters. And Roger Stern, I'm pretty sure he's like I read books like Marvel books by this dude. But I would have to double check. And James Fry, who's the artist, I have no idea who he is. Probably works for Dynamite. And you also got covers by George Perez and Nick Bradshaw, who I have no idea who that guy is. George Perez is famous for Teen Titans. I don't know why you would have George Perez do your covers, because like he doesn't exactly have like iconic art. He's a good artist, don't get me wrong, but it's not like you would see artwork by him and you would instantly know it was George Perez book cover, unlike with people like Alex Ross and J.G. Jones and Jim Lee, other artists like that who are known for their great artwork and their distinct art styles. Even people like John Romita Jr., right? But yeah, the artwork is pretty. The story is basically, they and I didn't really like the fact that they did this in Kiss, they did this in this Kiss book, but they pretty much gave you an origin story for Darkman, which I thought was kind of unnecessary. But I guess since this is his first comic book appearance, as far as I know, I've never ever seen any other Darkman comic books. Which this was printed in 2007. Oh my god, I just got a nosebleed. Oh shit. Good thing I had tissues over here. Oh shit. Yeah, I get nosebleeds this time of year. It's not COVID. Don't worry about it. Yeah. So, yeah, the story is basically Julia Hastings, which was played by Frances McDormand, in the Darkman movie, who's Darkman's love interest. It has this lab assistant who's working on translating the Necronomicon. And what happens is Dummy reads a passage out loud and summons the evil essence of the Necronomicon and turns people into zombies. Turns Julia Hastings into the Queen of Darkness, kind of like in the Kiss versus the Army of Darkness book that we reviewed earlier this month. And Darkman, who was spying on his ex-girlfriend, happened to be nearby, sees what's going on. A guy who, if you haven't seen the Darkman movie, he's a scientist, right? Takes all this magic bullshit seriously, which I thought that was weird. Like, you're not gonna question any of this, buddy? Like, you're a scientist, but he's like, fuck it. So him and the lab assistant, who's like Bryn, I think her name was Bryn Kelly. They summon. She reads a passage from the book that mentions a great hero, right? So she summons the great hero, and what comes out? A shotgun, a 2-barrel shotgun, a chainsaw, and Ashley J. Williams, aka Ash from Evil Dead, who, despite being from the 70s and being young, knows what cell phones are, references Seinfeld at one point. Yeah, it's like, I thought that was weird. Like, Darkman, like, he has a cell phone in this book too, but it's like, cell phones were around in the 90s. It was more of a modern one. And by the way, like, they don't mention what city this takes place in, because the city becomes zombified, right? Did they ever? Can someone comment? Like, did they ever mention what city, like, Darkman takes place in? I can't fucking remember, and I saw the second one recently. But yeah, so like, basically, Darkman and Ash Williams team up. They kind of don't really get along because, for obvious reasons, Ash is kind of the reluctant hero, and Darkman is like dark, brooding character. He has anger issues from the experiment that because if you haven't read the Darkman book, movie, watch the movie, not read the movie. If you haven't watched the Darkman movie, what happens? He gets almost killed in an explosion at a lab, right? Which leaves him horribly disfigured. This doctor thought it was a bright idea to treat burn victims by surgically removing a part of the brain that causes pain, right? Like the pain center of the brain, which also, I think in the movies they even mention, like, it's not just pain he doesn't feel. He doesn't feel anything. He lost all sense of touch. But here they only mention the pain. Also, he can talk when he has no lips, which kind of makes no sense. But that was like a plot hole for the movie, so don't worry about that. I thought the action was good. The There's some cool references. They brought back Durant, who was the major villain in the Darkman 1 and 2. I don't know if he's in the third one. Yeah, apparently, like, you see Durant's henchmen, and they kind of look like the Three Stooges, which, like, in the movie, I don't think they looked like the Three Stooges, but maybe I didn't notice that when I was watching the movie. But I don't know, his henchmen get resurrected too. Yeah, I would say that the artwork is good. It has that not old-timey 90s comic book feel to it. My nose is still bleeding, by the way. Oh god. The references I thought were, you know, okay. Well, didn't get annoyed. The dialogue wasn't the greatest, but I thought the writers did a good job capturing the personalities of the characters from their respective movies, even like Durant, and like they remembered that Darkman has anger issues, which, if I remember correctly from the second movie, which I haven't watched in a while, they don't bring that up that the guy has anger issues as a side effect from the experiment the operation that was performed on him. I don't know. So I would say this is a good book. If I had to give it a rating, it's I would say the 6.5. I really enjoyed it, but it's only 4 issues, and I think I paid like $20 for this. It says like 15 US, so that's what, like, you add $2 or something for Canadian. I don't know. I paid like $20 at a comic book store for this. I don't know. It's really, I would say it's pretty good. Again, it has that like 90s comic book feel, because you have the Roger Stern, who's a co-writer here. I know this was published in 2007, but I'm saying because you have the 90s comic book writer here, it feels like a 90s comic book. Yeah, I would say it's worth checking out. It's way better than the Kiss versus Army of Darkness book. Is it as good as Freddy versus Jason versus Ash? Well, it's been a while since I read that, so I can't really say. But on the last week of Halloween, we're definitely gonna review that book. I already started reading our next book that we're going to review for Halloween month, Hack Slash Volume 1 First Cut, by Tim Seeley. This book is really good so far. This was a classic back in the day. I'm not reviewing it now, I'm just, you know. But I will say this was published by Devil Dude Publishing, this volume, which they're not a thing anymore. So I think Image owns the rights to this book. So if you're looking to buy Hack Slash, I think Image Comics published some omnibuses, which I read the first one, but I don't own it. Alright, peace.